guys, this is Shelby with the Rogers Product Library. So this week for Makerspace at Your Place, I was going to show you guys how I made a shield using cardboard and paper mache. But a lot of the techniques that we're going to be using to do this are generalizable, so you can use them to make other things as well. But the first step, what you're going to do is you're going to get a big piece of cardboard and you're going to decide what you want your shield to look like. So this one is supposed to be like a kite shield, right? So it's kind of a triangle and with a circular or a more circular top. And I made this shape using a couple simple tools. So I used a compass, right? So it's the pencil, it goes like this, and then a straight edge, right? So it's really easy to do. It took me about like 5 minutes just to draw the lines on here. And then this cardboard isn't super thick, so you can just cut it out pretty easily with scissors. Right, so we get our shield shape, right? And so the thing about it at this point is that it's not very strong, right? It's pretty flimsy. And the next step is going to be aimed at kind of strengthening it up. So the first shield that I made, I actually used paper mache, right? I got strips of paper and I soaked them in a mixture of glue and water, and I added that to it. And it turned out pretty okay, but there was some bubbling involved, right? So were places where the paper mache kind of warped and didn't stick to the cardboard fully, and so it's kind of a little wrinkly. But really, the thing that gives paper mache strength isn't the paper; it's the glue mixture. So you can just apply that to the cardboard, and you don't really have to worry about all the wrinkles that can pop up. So what you do to make the mixture is you just get glue, just regular school glue. So you need to open this one. I'm going to be pouring it in here. All right, and then you're going to mix the glue with about an equal part of water. And now there's another way to make this too, using wheat flour and kind of like cooking it to make something called wheat paste. But the thing about that is that, well, one, it takes a while to do. You have to actually like cook it. The other thing is that it can go bad. It doesn't last a super long time. So, but this is easy to do, and it can dry out, but it's not going to make your glue go bad. And you also can make just a small amount of it at once. You don't have to worry about making a super big amount because it takes so long to make it. I'm just brushing it on here. There's not a lot of technique to this because we're going to be doing a lot of layers. I think for my finished shield I did about 4 layers and then another 2 on the back. Right, so pretty simple. You coat it, and you don't want to get a really thick layer on it, right? Because we're going to be doing multiple layers. If you put too much on at once, it's going to take a long time to dry. As it is, I think this is going to take about 30 minutes to dry, and then I can put the next layer on it. So if you just set it aside and you go do whatever, and then over the course of 2 or 3 hours, you'll have it completely glued, completely reinforced, and then you're going to want to let it dry after that point for about probably 12 hours. It needs to be to the point where it's like warm. When it's if it's still wet at all, it's going to be kind of cold to the touch, and as soon as it's about the room temperature, it should be good to put paint on. All right, so this is what my shields looks like, or this is what it should look like when the paste is dry. Just completely dry. I did this like a week ago. It's just been sitting. It's rock hard, right? You can't really bend it at all. But again, because I put the paper on it, there's a couple of wrinkles, but that's okay. It's not a super big deal. It's just easier not to have to mess with the paper. And I'm going to be using this like metallic paint so that it looks more shieldy. And again, this is really just a matter of doing layers. It's going to take a couple before you can get the cardboard coated pretty well. Oh, it's worth pointing out, when you're doing the gluing section, you don't need to really worry about getting stuff on the table because it is just glue and it cleans out really easily. But for this part, I really should have put a tablecloth down first. So we'll see how that goes as far as cleaning up is concerned. But if tablecloth or even just newsprint down first will make cleaning up afterwards a lot easier. Right, and you can still see the newsprint through the paint, right? So that's why we need to put multiple layers on. But so if you coat this entire thing though, and you do probably 2 layers or so, it should be good to go. Now you can also go another extra step. You'll notice for this one I did a couple extra things, right? So the first is that I molded the cardboard while it was wet. I actually physically bent it and held it in place, which is super easy to do while the cardboard is still in this wet state. It's very pliable, and if you do shape it, if you give it a little bit of a curve or something, it's going to dry in that shape, and it should keep it relatively well. And the other thing is the pattern. I found a cool design that I liked online, and I printed it out, and then I used that as a guide to kind of just brush on here. Right, so it's the same metallic paint as the base, and then just black paint overlaid that. And once I'd done that part, I coated it with another layer of the glue and water mixture to kind of seal it and to keep the paint from getting messed up. And then on the back, I made like a thing to put my arm through, so I can hold it like this. And I did that with ribbon and hot glue. You can also use Velcro or even like duct tape, but those weren't really working out well for me because it's curved, so it wasn't easy to get the right sizes down. These were a lot more adjustable. I could glue them down and then make them be the size that I wanted to after the fact, whereas you can't do that with tape. But that's what we have for you guys this week. I hope you liked it. See ya.